All right, let's talk about De'Von Achane. And yes, that is how you say his name, Achane, not A-Chain. He used to be called A-Chain, but he eventually corrected people and said, no, actually Achane is the correct pronunciation. So that's what I'm going to call him. Really interesting rookie year. So he was one of those running backs that I actually loved coming out of college. I was a big fan of him and really felt like he was slept on. He gets drafted by the Miami Dolphins, which instantly when that happens, it's everyone who, even people that weren't crazy about him, were like, oh my God, that's a perfect fit. And he looked amazing when he was playing, and that was certainly a thing a qualifier you have to say is had a lot of injuries, struggled to stay on the field, but you do have to wonder if the Dolphins could get a full year out of him. Things could be awesome because they looked awesome last year. So yeah, I want to get into the film and talk about what makes him so effective for the Miami Dolphins and just how good is he. Before I do though, just real quick, I have a movie channel if you're interested in that kind of thing. The link is in the description below. Talk about some fun stuff on there. I tend to give reviews of like the big movies that come out. I also do some other stuff like some like tier list of like movie directors, films tier list and stuff like that, similar to what I do on this channel. So yeah, if that seems like the kind of thing you're interested in, check it out. The link is in the description below. But anyway, let's just get into the this kind of film. So starting off with a play like this, it's going to be a run to the offense's left, and you see the concept. I mean, you see how this blocking can work. Again, this is a lot of what the Dolphins like to do, and a lot of what we're going to talk about in this video is how many unique types of plays Achane is in. But let's see how this play works. First, you see that, Tua gets it to Achane, and Achane seems to be running pretty fast, but it's funny that he's such a quick player that his sort of like jog when he's kind of just letting the play develop still goes at such a fast pace. Because okay, that wasn't like slow or anything, but now, the blocking has worked. There is a window for him to run, and watch him really, to turn on the jets here. I mean, notice that just acceleration powering through and picks up a ton of yards on that play. That's just great stuff. So, again, it's one of those things where how valuable is a running back type of question? Well, if you get an average running back, I don't know how many yards they're getting. I think it's going okay. I think they're gaining, 5 or 10 yards, but are they gaining 25 yards? That I'm just not sure about. And that's the value of Achane, is it seems like he just gives you those extra yards, whatever it ends up being. And it's not just with his speed, which is obviously the main attribute that you think of when you think of him, but speed isn't the only thing he brings to the table. For example, a play like this, where it's going to be a run towards the top of the screen. Again, another sort of unique type play where it's going to be Tua's kind of going to flip it to him on that side of the field. But watch how when this play begins, you see that, Achane gets the ball flipped there, but there is a Denver player who still read this play pretty well. Again, part of why this type of unique thing can work is when you have Achane lined up to the left of the quarterback, usually you run it towards the right because just that's the way the handoff makes the most sense. But since you do it this way, hopefully that little, hesitation that it can generate by a defender could be all you need to get into the end zone. Not happening on this one. But here is the other value of Achane that people don't really talk about. Watch him, after getting bumped, really runs through a couple of Denver players and gets into the end zone for a touchdown. He isn't an easy guy to bring down for multiple reasons. It's not just the speed and the fact that he can run by you, but he can, run through you a little bit as well. It's not like he goes down the second there is contact. He can find ways to make this type of thing work. And even something like this is also worth mentioning, where it's going to start off as though it's going to be a designed run towards the offense's right, but that's actually not what's happening. Tua isn't going to just give Achane the ball, although the play is still designed to go through Achane. After the play action, he's essentially going to get flipped the ball already into flat towards the offense's right. So, okay, makes sense. Let's see what happens. So, when Tua runs this play, you see, again, not sure if this was by design always to get Achane the ball, or if this was just Tua going to that option eventually. Kind of threw it no look, so I assumed it was intentional, but I don't know. Either way, you see right here, there are Denver players in the area. This is something that isn't definitely working at this point for Achane. But watch him do a good job of using that acceleration, using his shiftiness to still pick up a ton of yards. So it's almost Tyreek Hill-like a little bit in the way that it's not just fast. Because, listen, Achane is a very fast player. There are a number of very fast players in the NFL. There are a number of very fast players who don't make the NFL because they don't have the other stuff. You can't just be a speed guy. You need more to your game if you're going to be successful, and he has more to his game, which is why the speed then just works so well. Like a play like this, for example, which is going to be, again, kind of a clever run where he's lined up as a wide receiver on this play. He's going to eventually go behind Tua. Tua will flip him the ball, and he'll run towards, outside the numbers towards the bottom of the screen. That's, again, it's the clever concept that Mike McDaniel likes to run. Let's see how this works. So Tua is going to flip the ball to Achane, who does run towards the bottom of the screen and gets to this point right here. It's a pretty good situation, and you can see that there does appear to be a window, but here is where just the speed and the explosiveness, while also the shiftiness and really vision of Achane come through. I mean, when you have that many different good qualities, good things are probably going to happen. Watch as he does accelerate well, is shifty enough to make a couple guys miss, and he's going to get all the way inside the 10-yard line before finally a safety is there to bring him down. So it's that shiftiness and that acceleration working together to turn what would have still probably been a good play, because it's a good situation, into a great play. But I also wanted to show something like this because I wanted to show a more traditional run as well, because I want to be clear in that it's not just the clever scheme that allows him to be successful. And it's worth mentioning that the clever scheme helps even on more traditional running plays like this one is, because as a defender, you just never know exactly what you're about to, what's about to be thrown at you, even if it ends up being something more traditional. You didn't know that right away and might be a little bit slow in getting over there. Nevertheless, this is once again a well-blocked play by the Miami Dolphins. You see Achane is getting, past that first line of defense, but this is a 2 safety deep coverage. I mean, you had a guy to block everybody other than the safeties. You kind of hope everyone can make their blocks. Doesn't always work out that way, but, this is something that can happen when, that's the risk you run when you play a 2 safety deep coverage. Just ask Brandon Staley. But with 2 safeties deep right here, you would think at the very least you're not going to give up an explosive play, but you already see that Achane is trying to get towards the edge. And as you see, he has the speed to just run by both of those safeties, and he accelerates so well. He does end up getting into the end zone for a touchdown. Have to cut it a little bit short due to copyright reasons, but, really good stuff there by Achane to be able to pull that kind of thing off. And this is a pretty traditional play that he turns what, again, should have been a 10-yard gain into a house call. I mean, as a whole, don't these highlights just seem amazing? Like, aren't they just, ridiculous what he can do, on the highlights? And the fact that he was averaging as many yards per carry as he was is almost, game-breaking in a sense. And while you can say the system, other guys weren't doing what Achane was doing. Other guys were having success. They weren't doing this, though. And I think that this could be a perfect marriage. I just hope he stays healthy. I think as football fans, forget if you're a Dolphins fan, as football fans, we deserve to see a full season of Achane and just see how that goes, right? I want to see that. I need that to happen because, can he keep this up for an entire season? I don't know. It's super fascinating, though. Again, really great, first season when he was out there, I think. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.